So rarely is a company ever able to articulate such a clear, beneficial, and understandable objective. Think about the software companies that we've been talking about on our channel. They're very complex, they're very complicated. Everybody knows they're important and that they make money in the end, and that's why we invest in them, but it's really tough for ordinary people to understand what they actually do. And aside from being a computer scientist, computer software programmer, you feel a little bit uneasy about putting your money into them, unless they're the best companies, because you don't know what they do. But that's not Virgin Galactic. They have a clear mission. They want to send ordinary people like you and me to space to view the world, like many astronauts have been so fortunate to in the past. Easy to understand. You articulate it. Somebody hears it. They're like, fuck yeah, I want to go. Excuse me. Company hopes to conduct its first human test flight on its 2 Unity spaceship from Spaceport America in New Mexico starting from December 11th. The flight was delayed due to coronavirus, so we'll see about whether this comes to fruition. Again, weather permitted, corona permitted. The company says that they are structured well, they have a plan, they're going to social distance, so we'll see what happens. Stock is up more than 60% on the news since the beginning of November with no signs of slowing down. It's killing it. Stock price is currently sitting at approximately $32. Since August, though, the company received buy ratings from 16 analysts, no sell recommendations, and one strong buy on Yahoo Finance for those of you familiar with that metric system. Obviously, that's a very good rating. That means that a lot of institutions are bullish on the stock and they see a long-term future and potential growth opportunity. So the question I'm going to try to answer at least is this part of the stock market bubble? Are people just throwing their money because they just want to get into something? They want to get into a good, or is it based in the fundamentals? Is the company actually performing? Like how do we see it? So I essentially just want to look at the company's forward-looking thesis in this video. Keep in mind that the company is not in its is still in its developmental stage, still hasn't yet launched a tourist into space, ultimately. So it is a pure speculation, especially at these current levels. Everything is overvalued. Question is there some fundamental opportunity? So I just want to provide you with a bull case, including the pros and the potential growth opportunity. Also provide you with a bear scenario, some of the concerns that investors should know before investing in the company, and maybe some other interesting things that you might not have known about the stock. And then obviously the decision is up to you whether to invest or not. But I could just bring you the facts. The company has, what is the company? So the company has 2 rockets which use reusable systems to carry 6 passengers into space. The experience for the passengers is about several minutes of weightlessness and crazy views, obviously, of Earth from space. You can do the flip, the classic flip. Maybe you could eat something. It's pretty cool. So how does the company see this all coming together? So the company aims for 400 flights per year per spaceport. Again, they have 2. According to their latest Q3 projections, they believe it possible to generate $1 billion in revenue per spaceport. The company is also exploring other revenue potential like professional astronaut training, delivering NASA payloads to the International Space Station and beyond. So let's talk about the demand for the experience. Obviously, company has supply, it needs demand. According to the research from Credit Suisse, there are 41 million people in the world that have a net worth of $1 million to $5 million. There are 3.6 million people who have a net worth of $5 to $10 million. So assuming that these people, or a portion of them, are at least interested in space travel, there is a market for this kind of pursuit. That would be their total addressable market, but we'll talk about that. So some positive indication that people are in fact interested in the service are the numbers of reservations. So to date, the company has roughly 600 reservations at roughly $200,000 to $250,000 a piece. Down payments, ready to go. The company also has approximately $900,000 refundable deposits, 200 of which they received in the last quarter, the third quarter of 2020. So that means that obviously demand is growing for this experience. People are seeing that the company is delivering on some of its promises, some of its deadlines. People are getting excited. They're putting down deposits. Voila. Also think about how they can potentially cut down their margins in the future and include people who are less wealthy. I don't know. I would love to go. I don't have $250,000. I wish. Subscribe. Maybe that'll happen. I'll take you with me. Another positive for the company is that they have a large cash reserve, currently sitting on $742 million. Company raised around 450 million of that in August. So people are obviously willing to put their money in. Company is able to raise cash to accomplish what they want to accomplish. Aside from their space travel, company also developed a next generation propulsion system, which might have applications for jet planes and other space applications. So that could potentially be a multi-billion-dollar business opportunity, according to some analysts, according to the company. Take that with a grain of salt, but it seems promising. The company is also expanding its operations by helping NASA in the ways that we talked about earlier. In fact, a few weeks ago, NASA actually awarded the company a contract for spaceflight and integration services. The company will generate some revenue for the upcoming flight scheduled for December 11th by carrying microgravity research payloads for NASA. So they're already in cahoots with NASA. Positive for the company. Another positive sign for the company is, as we discussed, that they'll be conducting a major flight beginning on December 11th, weather permitted and corona permitted. But the reason why that's so important is because it will help them gather enough data for FAA approval. So in order to get FAA approval, you need a lot of data about your flights. That's what that will help them with. It'll also bring them closer to their Q1 target of bringing Richard Branson into space, the founder of the company. And that they expect in the Q1. So that's the first real person. So here are some of the concerns for the company. Here's the bear thesis. Here's why potential investors should at least be wary of the current valuation, the stock price. First of all, as we spoke about, the company is still in its developmental stage. So as a result, they're currently losing money, and they expect to be losing money, according to the company, and not be profitable until at least 2023. So in their Q3 earnings call, the company reported net loss for the quarter of $77 million compared to $63 million in the second quarter. That's an increase, obviously. Expenses for the company also increased roughly to roughly $31 million from $26 million in the second quarter. Another problem. Some of these costs, according to the company, surrounded hiring a new CEO, the appointment of their chief space officer. That's a thing. And COVID expenses, obviously. A lot of companies are dealing with that issue, so that's at least justified. Hopefully in the next quarter, that won't be a thing. Now with the vaccines out, let's hope. Free cash flow for the last quarter was negative $59 million and not much change from the second quarter, so that's good news. Hopefully they can lower that too. So the analysts anticipate the company's EPS to be at a loss of $1.23 this year. That's obviously not good, but generally expected from the company that's growing and hasn't yet produced its experience, its service. Another concern that we will almost unfortunately always talk about in this day and age is coronavirus. That's made it harder for the company to hit its deadlines. Remember, the upcoming flight, December 11th flight, was delayed because of the pandemic, and they also wanted to launch a rocket-powered test flight in November, but that was postponed also due to the coronavirus. So the company said that it's been working around the strict stay-at-home orders, and as a result, were forced to push off some of their scheduled flights, as we spoke about. In their Q3 earnings report, the company said that this is expected to continue through the fourth quarter and in 2021. So that's obviously a concern, obviously a problem. Let's hope we get those vaccines out, for all of our sakes. So another issue is demand. So I know we talked about that there seems to at least be some demand among people who could afford the experience of traveling to space, paying the $200 to $250. However, there is another side to that coin. So according to Mark Tepper, president of Strategic Wealth Partners, so he believes that the customer base for the service is not as large as people might be led to believe. So the flights, again, are priced at a very high level, $200 to $250,000. Tepper believes that people bullish on the stock estimate the total addressable market being for those with $5 million net worth. In that case, then there are 2.4 roughly million globally. But he believes that the total addressable market really is only for people with $10 million net worth and above. So that obviously cuts the pie pretty substantially from 2.4 million to 1 million globally. Obviously, that would change everything in terms of the potential revenue generation for the company that the company's expected. So we'll see what happens. That's obviously, we're not sure. There's also concern that people who could afford space travel aren't actually interested in the service and the experience. Or if the company can't lower its margins, lower the price of the experience, then they're going to have an issue. Obviously, supply without demand. So another concern is that the company still needs FAA approval. The good news on that front is that based on the data that they accumulate from this upcoming December 11th flight, they will be much closer to getting that approval. Again, the FAA needs a lot of data based on their flights, and then they give approval based on that. Another concern is competition. Elon Musk will come and ruin every holiday. I like him, but... So Elon Musk and SpaceX. So Elon has been launching astronauts to the International Space Station the last few months and has said that he could potentially fly tourists into space this year. I would take that very seriously, and that's going to be obviously a big concern, especially with that small market. So yesterday, the SpaceX Starship exploded. That was the spaceship that was going to take people to Mars, people to the moon, anyway. But it was a prototype, and Musk said that it was still a good... it was still a successful mission. So then there's Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos. So this week, they produced a plan to NASA, Blue Origin did, which essentially outlined their desire and their ability to take astronauts to the moon for NASA, on NASA's behalf anyway. Just like SpaceX takes astronauts to the International Space Station, Blue Origin would take them to the moon, and then they would return them safely to Earth. So that's obviously competition, potential competition for SpaceX, and that could be an issue. So we'll see what happens in the end. So all of this is to suggest that, in summary, there's a lot of hope for the stock, and that's why people are buying in, and they want to get into this opportunity. They don't want to look back one point like they did with Amazon, like they did with other companies, Apple, and say, oh, Jesus, why could I not see that everyone's going to be going to space in 2045? I could have paid for my kids' college, the bar mitzvah. You get the point. Obviously, it's overvalued. Obviously, the market is in somewhat of a bubble now. People are just throwing money at it. It just keeps going up, even though the news is not great. The economy is not great. That's how it works anyway. But, I think there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad. I think more good, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of potential. I really do believe that most people want to travel to space and see the world from that perspective. That's just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You can never say. I would throw a lot of money at that. But that's just me. So in terms of putting your money there, I can't tell you to buy. I can't tell you to sell. I can't tell you what to do, but I just provided you with some of the facts, some of the pros, some of the cons, and you can make your own decision. Do your own research. Do more research. Maybe I missed something. Please comment below. By the way, please like the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video. Please subscribe to my channel if you're interested in some of the future content. Hit the notification bell. Also, please comment, because I wouldn't mind having a discussion about some of the potential things that I miss. Maybe you want to tell me about a stock that you're looking into, or maybe you don't have enough time. You want me to look into it, maybe make a video about it for you. Absolutely no problem. Again, these are just my opinions. I'm not telling you to put your money in. I'm not telling you to take your money out. All my opinion, my research. But thank you so much, and have a great day. We'll see you next time.